So I'm super excited today to introduce my next guest. Is Frank Morabito.
Yep.
From Escarment Arms
Yes.
and Bull Creek Strategies.
Bull Creek Strategic.
Strategic.
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome. Tell me a little bit about what you do and what your background is.
Where do you want me to start?
Okay. So you were in the service,
Yes.
right? So why don't we just start there? Like,
Yeah.
You graduated high school. Like, what made you want to serve for the country?
Yeah. So, actually, in high school, I went to BOCES for heating and cooling.
Okay.
And I did heating and cooling for, I don't know, better part of like 3 or 4 years. So instead of actually going to classes, I would go to school for like an hour or two and then go back to work.
Sure.
And did that up until I was 19. So about a year and a half after high school, and just was bored. To be honest with you, it wasn't I was bored, it was a lot. To be 19 years old, working 70, 80 hours, 90 hours, like constantly just doing service work
Right.
on furnaces and stuff.
Yeah.
I just woke up one day and was,
What's funny is I graduated high school. Again, high school was boring to me. I didn't want to be there. I was fine. I was a student. And when I graduated high school, I nobody in my family went to college. So my dad was like, well, you got to get a job. So I got a job hanging drywall. And after hanging drywall for a year, I'm like, this sucks,
Yeah.
right? This is now I know what I don't want to do.
yeah.
Like, so I went to ECC in Buff State and trying to still figure out my shit, right? Like, you're 18, 19 years old trying to plan the rest of your life. So not easy.
That's where I was. And just, I always, the service was always in my mindset.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather served, my uncle served, and my grandfather, I mean, we're second generation from Sicily, so like
Okay.
not a lot of family here.
Right.
So it was always in the back of my head.
Yep.
So I literally just went to the recruiting office one day. I wanted to join the Air Force. That was my initial route. I had bad eyes, so they wouldn't take me. And then, they were going to take me for a different job, and then got into a motorcycle accident, like a pretty bad motorcycle accident, and they wanted to push me out like a year. Like all the skin was like torn off my arms and stuff like that. And went over to the Army and was like, hey, I'm looking to do this.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, take this test. Okay, well, here are your jobs. I'm like, I get to jump out of planes and shoot shit. They're like, yeah. I'm like, say less. So I was like a recruiter's like wet dream, like walking in there, because I was like, where do I sign and when do I leave?
Yeah. My dad was in the service down in the 70s, and he was stationed down in Panama for a long time. And he was like, Kev, he's like, we got high every day, jumped out of helicopters and shot shit. I'm like, okay, right?
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
Wild, but
yeah. So that's kind of where the whole service thing started. So I mean, I went, joined the Army, went through OSUT training, Fort Benning, infantry school, Airborne school from there, and then went to the 82nd Airborne Division and was stationed at Fort Bragg for almost my entire service. So the better part of 10 years, I was a paratrooper in the 82nd, went to Afghanistan 2009, did like a 17-month rotation. So left February of 2009, came back July of 2010. We were in the Korengal. We were basically aerial recovery for the whole northeast region of Afghanistan, which basically what that was if aircraft went down, our team would get called up and we would go out and do recovery or search and rescue. If things were happening in other places, like needed to take people places, they'd call us, we'd go do it. If we were doing snatch and grab, stuff like that. So I did that for a while. Also did some PSD work, which is just protective security for high-ranking generals and stuff.
you've seen some shit.
I've been around a little bit. Did that, got out, or after 2010, I re-enlisted again for free, basically, because I wanted to go do another job. But I was an NCO for too long without doing a B-billet or without doing any kind of admin time. So I got forced to go to recruiting duty.
Okay.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, hey, you're going to go be a recruiter. I didn't want to do it. So I basically quit, essentially, if that's what you want to call it. Came back home, joined the Guard here for like 2 years just to finish out my full term, and just wasn't having it.
What is that like to go from what you were doing, right, back into just being like a civilian or a normal
horrible.
person. Yeah,
It was I wouldn't say it's horrible. It's
I respect everything that comes with what you and everybody that serves does. It's wild to me. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that.
but again, just coming back and then, oh, let's flip a switch and be a normal person
Yeah,
again.
it's hard.
Right?
So it's hard to explain. So like you don't realize what you have until you don't have it. I mean, everyone knows
Sure,
that.
yeah.
So being that I got kind of screwed when I was in, I had a salty taste in my mouth. So when I came home, like I was just bitter anyways, and I was excited to be a civilian again
Sure.
and try and reassimilate back into society. It just didn't work for me.
Okay.
So I went to Ag University, started a business, started doing business there, realized business wasn't business. It was like world business.
Right.
It wasn't entrepreneurship
Right.
or anything like that. It didn't serve purpose for anything. And that's when I realized university was just
Yeah,
stupid.
I had the same sort of experience at Buff State, right? I changed my major from graphic design. I loved art growing up, drawing, painting. And then I realized once I was in college for it, I'm like, I'm not going to make any money, right?
Yeah.
So I changed my major to business. But it was just, I got my degree just to get my degree and get out,
Yeah.
right? And I'm so disappointed because I wish I would have learned more about opening a business and running a
Mhm.
business, and things were more like focused on. I mean, when I first opened my first video game store, after 2 years, I got a letter from the town like, "Hey, you didn't pull sign or permit for your sign," and I'm like, I didn't know. I'm like 23 years old. I didn't know I needed to pull a permit. Like,
Yeah.
just stupid little stuff like that. And from that to like bookkeeping and taxes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just yeah,
And yeah, like I said, like not the Ag University, it's a great school.
yeah, of
Like,
course.
don't get me wrong. Like it's a
Well,
phenomenal school.
unfortunately, people don't understand until you've gone through it.
Yeah.
Now I look back on it and I was like, meh, you know?
And me going through as an adult too. I
Yep.
mean, I was 28 years old,
Yeah.
going back to college.
Yep.
And I had a different perspective. I mean, I was at that point I was married. We had one kid. We had one. She was pregnant with Dominic. And it just was I was there for a different reason.
Sure.
So going through these courses, like everything was just easy. There was no complications to it. I'm like, I'm not learning anything. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Because as
I
an adult,
didn't-
you already have that concept
100%.
of
And
street.
even though I was just a couple years, I ended up being 2 years off. Being a little bit older than everybody that was there.
Yeah.
They're all dorming and partying, and I lived off campus and I had a girlfriend. So it was like I went to school, did my shit, got back home, got out,
Yeah.
and kind of that's when I started a lot of online stuff. But I was just like focused on work and like building a business and
Yeah.
moving to the next step.
And that's where I was with it. So I switched from business over to psychology. Because I had some other career paths in mind at that point, essentially. So started doing the whole criminal psychology thing, and it was very interesting to learn why people react the way they do, like physical acuities or verbal acuities,
Yeah.
just why people do what they do, and it just was interesting to me.
Yep.
So from that, during that time, I was doing heating and cooling. My buddy was starting. I went back into heating and cooling.
Mhm.
A buddy was starting a business. Was like, "Hey man, do you want to work?" I was like, "Yeah." So I'd go to work and then I'd go to school, whether it was nighttime or morning time, and just did it for I don't know 2 years. And
Mhm.
I just was. My wife even said it. She's like, "You're miserable.
Right.
You hate everything that you're doing right
Yep.
now." She's like, "You're just you
Going
you
through
wish yeah."
emotions.
She's like, "You wish you wouldn't have got out." I'm like, 100% wish I never would have got out.
Right.
Because the thing about the military is it's structured.
Mhm.
And everyone loves structure in their
Sure.
life, even
Yep.
now.
Yep.
But it's a form of structure that keeps you grounded
Yep.
because it's easy. You wake up in the morning, you go to PT at 6:30, run a couple miles, go to the gym, work out, and then at 9 o'clock, your duty day starts. And as an infantryman, depending on where you're at the time, you were basically at the needs of the army, or your unit, so you're doing groundskeeping, landscaping, whatever it may be. But when you're training, you're training. So you're at the range shooting, you're out in the field training, jumping out of planes, like you're constantly doing something. But then at like 4 o'clock, duty day is done, go home, go cook dinner for the wife or whatever, girlfriend, or go do whatever you want.
Mhm.
But it was structured. You got a
Right.
paycheck every 2 weeks. There was defects for you to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at. You just everything was easy and everything was there, but they don't teach you how to go back and just be a normal person.
Yeah. So
So that was the problem of me getting out. Was I spent the better part of 10 years in that lifestyle, thriving in that lifestyle, and then on a whim, just was like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore because of this one bad decision,
Right.
and then came back. So during that time of me going to Nag University, I was talking to a couple people I knew, and that's kind of when shit. So was talking to a bunch of people that I knew that I served with about private security contracting.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where that came in, was 2010. When I was kind of looking at getting out, I started to apply for like academy, triple canopy, because Blackwater wasn't a thing anymore. That was academy at that time.
Okay.
And didn't think anything of it. 2 years, 3 years later, I got a phone call. Hey, do you want to come try out for being whips 2 or whatever it was, or just being what we call them was window lickers, but you're just being a it's called window lickers, but just being a private security
Okay.
like
Yeah.
specialist, like a PSS. And I said sure. So I talked to my wife. I was like, hey, I'm not happy. None of this is where I want to be right now. Like, our family isn't where I want us to be right now. Like, this is what I'm good at, and this is what I know.
Yep.
Nothing I got from the military was easily transitionable to civilian life.
Right.
And I'm not saying that to discourage anybody.
Right.
Because the thing is I learned so much in the military. I mean, I was an Eagle Scout before I went in, so I had an idea of like how leadership worked and how everything kind of worked. But
I would assume, and I don't mean to interrupt,
No, you're good.
apologize for interrupting, is I've spoken to, some guys that that own businesses that went through the service and, did their tours and things like that. And you just said it, the leadership and probably the discipline is
Yeah.
is the stuff that you've taken most from that and are able
Yeah,
to
and you
apply
can
it to
take
the rest of your life.
criticism very, very
Oh,
well.
I'm sure.
Like,
I cannot take criticism.
well, and
Sure,
that's I was just about to say that. Like,
I
like
cannot.
civilians in general are not good at taking
Yeah.
constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I'm not talking bad about any of my civilian friends or
No.
even you or anything, but like, if I do something wrong or I make a mistake
Yep.
in the service, like, yeah, I got yelled at, like, hey, fix this or do this, but it was a teaching moment.
Right.
If you had good leadership, it was a teaching moment, and you learned from that mistake to not do it again. Coming home, working with a lot of civilians, hey, this was wrong, or even tactfully telling them, like, hey, that wasn't really the right way to do that. Immediately from 1 to 10, get pissed off.
World is soft.
Exactly.
Soft.
Get immediately pissed off. And you're like, why are you getting so mad? Like, well, you're calling me out. Like, well, no, I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Like, that's how we learn. So the
I
same
try to, in my business or even in my life, and my wife may think differently, but when I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I try to admit it. I try to see that and say, or if I made a mistake, hey, listen, I fucked up. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
And I will go above and beyond to swing that pendulum so far the other
we all
way.
try to.
Right. Yeah, we all try.
We try to. Because I'm not even perfect at it either. Like, I still am pretty hard at taking criticism, but as I'm getting it, I think about it. And like I said, it goes for the same thing with teaching, with me teaching firearms or just being a teacher in general.
Yep.
Is we don't learn when you do something right. Like, let's say do you like to cook?
I like to grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So grilling, easy comparison. When you grill something right.
Yep.
And your wife and everyone's like, man, that was really good, Kev. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Just did it.
I just did it.
Yeah.
And then you try and do it again. What happens? You typically probably are going to fail at it the second time because you didn't write it down the first time. So like, that's the comparison to it, is when you do something right, you never remember how you did it.
Right.
But when you fuck it up,
Right. Yeah.
then it sticks in your head because you made that mistake and it becomes a learning point.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't learn from doing things right. We learn from making mistakes.
Right.
And that's kind of where a lot of people fail to realize that is that concept. And like I said, vets kind of get it because we all made mistakes. We all joined the military at a super young age. We were learning. We were puppies. We were growing up. We had no idea what we were doing. So we made tons of mistakes. Right. And like I said, a lot of civilians don't have that mindset with that is, hey man, that was kind of wrong. Well, why are you telling me I'm wrong? Like, whoa, dude, like it's a teachable moment. Like, it's all right.
Always like, I don't like to be yelled at.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I've worked for myself since I was very young, and I'm type A personality. And now I have a 4-year-old at home who all kids don't like to be yelled at.
Yeah.
But I can see there's that extra, like, when we raise our voice to her, like, she immediately goes into defense mode, and I'm like, "Oh, man, she got that from me."
Yep.
She just
My youngest Gabriel got that from me.
yeah, again, just respect me as a human being. Tell me what I did wrong. I will do everything I can to fix it and figure out how to do it and so on and so forth. But the second you start yelling at me, man, I shut down.
And
I
yeah,
go
that's
full defense mode.
and that's acceptable.
Yeah.
That's 100% acceptable. Which whenever, like, say if I'm coaching or doing something and something is wrong or someone does something that I might feel is wrong, like, I never try and yell or anything like that at that person just because I know how it's going to turn. Like, just try and talk.
Dude, I was a decent athlete growing up. I played every sport there was all the time, and I took pride in, like, basketball and football. I started every year. I was captain. I played both sides of offense, defense. But my junior year in basketball was the only year in my career that I never started, and I didn't take it well at all.
Yeah.
And the coach did nothing but fucking scream at us all the time, and to this day, I hate his guts so much, and it lives in my head.
Well, there should be moments for that. So, like, not to, like, get
I
off,
just don't learn well
Yeah.
when you're screaming at me,
like,
right?
not
Like,
to get off a topic, like, or anything, like, because we're kind of on that topic, but, like, coaching. So, like, I help coach football and I help coach wrestling. Youth wrestling and youth football, but there's times to yell and there's times to not yell. If you're
Sure.
going to yell, you better make a teaching moment out of you yelling,
Fair. Yep, that's
so
fair.
that the kids you're yelling at the end of that abuse they just got,
Right.
oh, okay, so if I do this way next time,
Yep.
this isn't going to happen. And like I said, I feel a lot of people just don't do that. They just automatically switch to 10, yell because something wasn't done right, but then they don't make it a
Tell you,
teaching
yeah,
moment.
why
They don't
or
explain
how
why or
fix
how to
it.
fix
Yeah.
it.
No, that's fair.
So to jump back to what we were before, with the whole contracting thing, like, that when that came up, it was like I said, I talked to my wife, was like, "Hey, what do you think about it?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "You know what? If it's gonna make you happy," she's like, "go for it, because I don't want to live with a miserable prick." And
Fair.
and I don't blame her. My wife, she is hands down the strongest woman I know, for the sheer fact, like, this is our 15-year anniversary this year
Nice,
in a couple
congrats.
weeks. But we've been together for like 20 years.
Okay.
So she's been through all the deployments. I
Yep.
mean,
Seen it all, been there for you.
realistically, I've deployed over 10 times.
Wow.
Somewhere around 10 times. So she's been there through all of it, through thick and thin. So when she was like, "Hey, yeah, you should go and do this," like, okay, let's go and do it. And at the time, I want to say Dominic was 2, something like that. Um, and then actually it was, I think, our 10 years, like, high school reunion. I left, like I was home on leave or whatever, and someone was like, "Hey, congratulations." I'm like, "For what? I don't understand. Congratulations for what?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Megan's pregnant again." I'm like, "Oh, that's wonderful. Like, I didn't know that." Here I am leaving the next day.
Oh, tough,
And
man.
like I said,
can't imagine leaving your family
oh,
for
for honestly, so, and here's the thing, like, not to sound like a bad person, like, it was easy
sure.
because that's the lifestyle I chose and that's the life I
Right.
love to live. But it was hard still because of my wife.
Right.
Like I said, I thought about what she had to do. She's at home, running her business because she's a cosmetologist. So
Yeah.
she's running her business. She's taking care of a 2-year-old. She's now pregnant at the same exact time.
All right.
She's doing a lot. She's maintaining the house. She's
Videos
maintaining the
of
bills.
coming back and, like, seeing the family for the first time.
Yeah.
Dude, they get it.
Oh, yeah.
Really gets me every time.
Dude, that was honestly, like, anytime I ever came home, that was my favorite part of coming home was, like, seeing my kids.
Yeah.
Or seeing her, like, but it got to the point where, I was gone so much that, like, coming home for her was like a task.
Right.
So it was like, "Yeah, just call me when you get your bag and I'll pick you up outside the gate." Like, "All right, yeah, and whatever." So, I ended up going with Triple Canopy. Went down to Jestic, Louisiana for their selection process. I actually failed the first time I went through. Yeah, I failed. I failed.
Happens to the best
I
of
can
us
admit it.
sometimes,
I
yeah.
failed, and it was the hardest thing for me to deal with because I flew down to Louisiana with a bunch of people I didn't know,
Sure.
and the thing that I failed on was the dumbest thing ever. Like, I didn't even make it through the course yet. I was only there for like 4 days, and I failed the physical fitness portion. And it was a bench press is what got me, which at the time I was benching like 315. So the way that the PT test worked was you had to bench 135% of your body weight.
Mhm.
You had to be 16% body fat or lower. Bend and reach like 26.5 inches or something like that. You had to do a 1.5 mile run in like 11 minutes, and the Illinois agility run, which is like, I want to say it's 15 yards, and it's slalom down, slalom back, sprint, sprint, slalom, slalom in like 16 seconds.
Mhm.
So it wasn't, it sounds like it's not a hard test, but
Sure.
it's a pretty hard test, especially to maintain that body fat
Mhm.
and to bench cold and raw.
Mhm.
So basically all you did was you lay on the bench and you started from the negative and had to
Oh,
press
wow.
up.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously not a small person. I've got a pretty big chest.
Mhm.
So when I got on the machine, my hands were down here. So to bench press 315 from that negative,
Right.
where I had no tension or pressure, I couldn't get it. And the instructors there, I think one of his names was Sully. He was awesome. He was like, "Hey man, like I'm gonna go bat for you. I watched you in the gym last night at the hotel repping like 355." He's like, "This is the dumbest test, being that's not a pendulum machine." He's
Right.
like, "We need to at least have the bar up like 2 inches for larger framed guys to get under the bar to be able to press it up." And he fought for it. Didn't matter. They were like, "Listen, this is it. End all be all. You don't pass this.
is the
Test is the
test.
test." So I had to fly back from Louisiana back home to here and then deal with that for like 4 months just in my head. Like I failed something
Right.
that was so easy,
Yeah.
and it tore me apart.
Right.
So they called me back and they're like, "Hey, we have another class starting up. Do you want in?" I was like, 100% yes. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, I'll be there. So they moved from Louisiana to Moyock, North Carolina, which was where Blackwater's headquarters was. Because Triple Canopy and Blackwater, or Academy, or IDS, whatever you want to call Blackwater at the time, they merged and they were kind of one underneath one umbrella. So all the training went to Moyock, to Blackwater's training facility. As soon as I got there, same instructors were there from Louisiana, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Yo," they're like, "You're ready, aren't you?" I was like, "Dude, I ain't leaving this time."
Yeah.
So as soon as I went for the PT test, I went and slid 2 25-pound plates underneath the actual pendulum press.
Okay.
So when I got under it, I was here instead of being down here.
Okay.
So repped
Was
it
you-
out,
Yep.
and then it was good.
That's awesome.
And then after that is kind of when you start getting into, as soon as you pass the PT test, like I want to say there was 50 people, something like that. After the PT test, we ended with like 35. So like 15 people immediately washed out, dropped out, which again, I was one of those people.
Right.
From there, you move on to weapons. So you've got 2 weeks of weapons. It's not training, it's familiarization, because they already expect you to have a certain skill level going through their selection process. And it's up to you basically to meet their standards. And if you don't meet their standards, well, then we're not going to teach you. Like they teach you to an extent,
Sure.
but they already expect you to be proficient. So weapons quals, 2 weeks long. You've got Glock 19, the AR or the M4 with a magnified optic, with a red dot optic, and then you've got the AK-47 familiarity, and a couple other things in there. But it's 2 weeks long.
Mhm.
That usually knocks out 5 to 10 people because they just aren't proficient with firearms.
Right.
Then you get into medical, and during that whole time during medical, you're also doing like team tasks. So you're working with each other on team environments inside of building, clearing structures, seeing where you're at with CQC or close quarters combat. And again, that washes people out too, because they're not used to that fast paced tempo.
Right.
And then you've got peer evals. You got to worry about your buddy saying, "Hey, this dude fucking sucks. Like, I don't want him here." So then that's towards the end of the whole selection program. And at the end of it, you're like, shit, peer evals are coming out. Like,
Yeah.
was I a good dude
Right,
for
right.
this 60 days that I've
Sure.
been here? Or yeah, I think it was around 60 days. So like, was I a good dude? Was I on top of my game? Was I annoying? Well, like it's all going through your head, because like you said, if you're a good dude, people hate you. If you're a bad dude, people hate you. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, because it's so cutthroat
Sure.
that you're always worried about somebody that's going to badmouth you or just put your name down because you're better than they are at something. Even if you're not, it's just it's what goes through your head. Um, One of the coolest parts about that program, though, was driving. So they hired race car drivers to teach us how to drive.
Really?
So they have a full road course there. They've got slick pads, like water pads and stuff like that to learn how to drift.
That's awesome.
Like I said, there's a full road course. There's crash testing to teach you how to actually drive through and get into an accident and drive out of the accident. But the road course was the coolest thing because it's a full-on road course, and we're driving Crown Vics, which the Crown Vic is an awesome car, to be honest with you. Like, those cars, stock alone by themselves, are awesome.
Yep.
They can drift. They can do everything you want them to freaking do.
Because I remember growing up, my grandpa had one, and
Yeah.
like, it looks like what it looks like.
Well, I mean, they're V8. They're essentially they're a V8 car. Yeah. So these guys that they hired, some of them, I mean, the guy that I had, I knew who he was. Like, we didn't know each other, but I knew him from YouTube just because he did the gumball race.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember him winning it. It was like 2013, I think, was when he did the gumball, borrowing someone's Corvette, and like won the race.
Oh, sure.
And when I saw him, I was like, holy shit. I was like, dude, you won the gumball last year. He's like, yeah, let's keep that on the down low a little bit. And I was like, why is this? Like, dude, it was a federal contract, man. And I was like, all right, yeah. But he taught us a lot of really cool stuff. You also do night driving. So like, you're on the racetrack racing at nighttime with no lights on, just using night vision goggles and stuff like that. But it was a great selection process because if you knew your stuff, you were able to refine it and hone it to meet their standards and learn more, because you had guys that were in the Navy, Army, Marine Corps. There was a little bit of law enforcement sprinkled in, like SWAT guys, not a lot, but there was some. So you get to learn from all these people. And to me, that was an amazing atmosphere because everybody had something to bring to the table.
Yeah, you took a little bit from everyone and made
And so once we got done with that, came home, was home for on the bench is what they call it. You're waiting for a deployment date. Home for a month, maybe 2 months, and then got the phone call, hey, you're going to task order 2, you're going to Baghdad. Like, all right, cool. Never been to Baghdad before. I spent all my time in Afghanistan. So going to Iraq was exciting and interesting for me because I haven't been there. And it was a nervous feeling too because I didn't know anybody. Like,
the unknown.
Yeah, Marines and everyone, like, for some reason, every Marine knows each other, no matter what unit you came from. Like, you know someone who knows somebody, but the Army's so big that unless you had a friend who went through it, you're not going to know anybody where you go. So get to Baghdad, knew nothing about anything, and get set right to a mobile team, go onto the range for the first qual, and I missed 1 or 2 shots. So I think the total time, or the total overall point score is 150 points. And 150, no, maybe it's 200 points. Either way, I think it was 200 points. I came in at like 192 or something like that. And my shift lead and all the guys like looked at me and they were just like, is that your scorecard? I was like, yeah. Well, in my head, I'm like, that was pretty good, right?
Right.
They're like, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I just got a great 6-figure job and I'm about to lose it because I didn't score as high as everybody else did. So they wouldn't talk to me at lunch, like didn't want to talk to me at all for the entire day. And just in the back of my mind, I call Megan halfway through like that day. She's like, so how's everything going? She's like, because it was the first couple days there. And I was like, well, I think I might be coming home again.
Oh boy.
And she's like, what'd you do this time? I'm like, I honestly don't know. I have no idea. And go to Sticks, who was my shift lead, go to his room, knock on the door. I was like, you want to see me? He's like, yeah, man, we need to talk about that scorecard, dude. He's like, we have a standard on our team, on team 3. He's like, we have a standard and you didn't meet it. He was like, so I'm going to write you a letter stating that I don't feel that you should be on our team and we're going to send you home. And I just, like, my heart sank, my soul just dropped. And I was like, dude, am I not good at what I do? Like, am I this bad?
Now you're questioning.
I'm questioning everything I did. And then, like, as soon as he said it, like, and all that, like, was running through my head, I heard a snicker in, like, the background. And, like, I pushed the door open and Sticks, like, stepped back, like, 5 foot and put his hands up. And I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers. This was a joke. And he's like, don't hit me. He's like, please do not hit me. And I was like, dude, man, Oh my God. I was like, you guys had
That's
me.
a brutal
I was like,
initiation.
you guys
Yeah.
had me. Like, I really thought that I was getting a loss of confidence. Like, I really thought I was getting sent home. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
So that was like my first week into like contracting was like that. And then it's like, all right, so
How long did you do that for?
3 years
Okay.
essentially. Yeah, from like 2014 to 2017. I still dabble now.
Okay.
But State Department wise, I was on a State Department contract in Baghdad from 2014 2017. And what we did there was we were glorified limo drivers. It's not what everyone thinks it is. Everyone here is like, oh, you're a private contractor. Like, oh my God.
Right.
It's not like that. Like, you're a glorified limo driver, essentially, is what your job is. You're making sure the client gets to the meeting they have to go to and get back to the embassy or wherever they're getting picked up from, point A to point B without them dying. Um, but again, what was great was I got set up on an amazing team from the get-go. And I was with them for about 2 months. A new QRF team, like a quick reaction force team, got stood up and they were like, hey, we need to fill this team. So the way my shift leader did it, he was like, hey, instead of drawing straws, he's like, the last person on the team, he's like, we're going to send a QRF. He's like, I don't want to. There's other people I'd rather send, but to be fair, he's like, I'm running the team. I have to do it fair. So I went to QRF, which was horrible. I was not a fan of it because we sat in a room for 12 hours a day. So we would go in this room with all of our kit, our plate carriers, our rifles and stuff, and we just staged. If something happened, we get call out, but there was never call outs. There hasn't been call outs in forever. Came home on my first leave, and I think at that point Megan was 4 months pregnant with Gabriel. Was home for 30 days, went back to Baghdad, and my first shift leader came up to me. He's like, hey man, I got some good news for you. He's like, you're coming back to Mobile. I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, but you're not going to 3-2. Like, where am I going? He's like 3-1. I don't want to go to 3-1. I want to come back to 3-2. He's like, no. He's like, you're going to 3. I was like, I told you I'd get you back.
Sure.
I got you back. It's on you now to make it work.
Right.
And I was like, all right. So I go to 3-1. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, where am I sitting? Because as a new guy, I figured I'd be in the back of the vehicle as a window licker, like, because it's the easiest spot for someone to not make a mistake. And immediately like, oh no, you're the new tactical commander for the team. He's like, you're running the team whenever we're mobile, when we're moving. Like, I've never been to, this is my 4th month in Baghdad. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And the shift leader's like, hey man, Stick said you're the dude. So you're the dude, man, trial by fire. Like,
Time to learn.
all right. So I started asking questions to people, like, and I mean, like, getting out of the military, I got out as a non-commissioned officer. So I got out as an NCO. So I mean, I was running teams before. I was running squads and stuff like that. So I understood the concept and started asking guys on the contract, hey, what am I doing? Like, what's my job? What am I supposed to do? Because the whole point of a tactical commander was I made the routes. I basically did all the mission planning with the shift leader. And then when we left the wire, I was in charge of radio. I was in charge of comms. I was in charge of the convoy. And then when we got on venue, same thing. I'm in charge of everything outside while the shift leader's in charge of everything inside. And like I said, it was just trial by fire. Knew nothing about the area. Did I make some wrong turns? Fuck yeah. Like, I made some wrong turns to the point where like I got my ass chewed out by the time we got back. Like, dude, why'd you make that turn? Like, no excuse.
Right.
I should have known. I should have did a better planning. I should have been paying attention to what my driver was doing better. But that's the thing is too, is you hope you have a good driver, because if you don't have a good driver, well, then you're screwed. So it's all on you. Luckily, after that rotation, the driver I got's been there for 6-7 years. So Sean was phenomenal. He was a great left seater to have, basically, because he knew the routes, he knew the city, he knew everything about it. So it was super easy for me to make routes because I barely had to even tell him what to do. I was just calling routes on the radio, like left turn 100 meters, like whatever it may be. And Sean knew what was going on. If I had to call like a route mod or something like that, Sean already knew where my head was and knew how to handle the situation. So that was basically what our job was for that entire time, was just making sure people got to their meetings when they were supposed to get their meetings. I mean, this is high up military, high up politicians. I mean, suitcases full of money getting dropped off at foreign diplomats, like,
Wow.
buildings and stuff like that.
Shit you see in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. Although like here, like that's a good point too, is that like the movies that you've seen about contractors, like those are all bad days.
Right.
Like 13 hours, like that was a bad day. Like thankfully I never had a bad day like that Chris and all those dudes had. Like that's like a 1 in a million day for a lot of guys that do that job. And I give those dudes all the respect in the world, like what they went through. I mean, even like I said, some of the other movies and stuff, like those guys went through some shit.
Right.
Thankfully, in my time contracting, we never did. Like 2016, when Baghdad was when the green zone was breached, like I was there for that. Wasn't anything bad, thankfully.
Mhm.
It was more so that the Iraqi people were pissed off at their government.
Mhm.
So they were pulling like
Seems like a lot of that going on today
yeah.
in the world.
So they were pulling politicians out of cars, stringing them up in the streets like
Oh.
that, and like we're sitting up in the embassy, like looking around, like, oh, today's the day. Like this is our day.
Right.
Like this is what's going to happen. And when I watched two of our Suburbans come through this big crowd because they had to get to the embassy, and you watched like Moses part the Red Sea. Like the people just opened up, let the American vehicles through, came through into the embassy, and we're like, oh, they're not here for us. Like, okay.
Right.
So there was a point where we were like, man, cage dogs, like, kind of sucks.
Sure.
Like we were kind of hoping, because not to sound bad, but we all got into that career field and that
Mhm.
job because we were good at one thing.
Mhm.
And when you don't get to do that one thing, sometimes like you're like a cage dog. So there was parts of us where we were like, man, that sucks.
Mm.
But then the other part was like a sign of relief.
Relief, yeah.
Like, all right, this isn't happening. Like, thank God, like another day went by. But I mean, funny story about that day. My grandfather, like I said, my grandfather served. He was a combat controller in the Air Force in the Korean War. And he always talks shit about me being in the Army. So always. Me and him had a great relationship though. Like, uh, he was always there for it, but like he wasn't reactive or responsive to my career choice. He was accepted to it.
Sure.
And me and him talked about a lot, but it was always a one-way conversation. Like I could never get much out of him. But the joke always was if I keep up this lifestyle, because at that time it was 12 years of doing it. If I keep it up, he's like, you're not going to make it till you're 30.
Right.
He's like, it's just not going to happen. So that green zone issue was my 30th birthday. It was July 3rd of 2016. So yeah, I was turning 30 that day. Grandfather calls me. I'm on a rooftop, check my phone, like I got to answer it. And all the guys knew on my team what the joke was, or not the joke, but like what my grandfather always said.
Mhm.
So I'm like, hey, what's going on, Papa? He's like, nothing. What's up with you? I was like, no, nothing. Just at work, like another day. He's like, oh, another day, huh? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm watching the news. Oh, I wouldn't believe everything the news shows you. And he was like, yeah, okay. He's like, I told you wouldn't make the 30. And I was like, damn, I don't want to have this conversation right now. Like,
not the time.
not the time. I was like, I'll talk to you later, because his birthday is July 4th. So as soon as the day ended, nighttime kicked off, everything kind of cooled off, and we kind of stood down. So July 4th, the next day, I called my grandfather and I was like, hey, happy birthday. And he was like, oh, I see you made it through the night. I guess your next big day is gonna be 35. I was like, all right, man. All right. But yeah, like I said, like we had some interesting times that were there. But it was more of an educational process,
Mhm.
because you had guys there that owned businesses and stuff like that, like Article 15 clothing. Matt, he was a contractor with TC, got some money, started that company. I mean, I could go on and on for guys that I contracted
Yeah.
with that own businesses now.
Well,
There's so many.
how did you transition from that day to coming back here and where you are today and starting your business?
Yeah. So,
'Cause obviously that seems like the back
yeah,
for it all,
yeah.
right? Like
So
you're
2017, I got injured, blew my knee out. It was stupid. So, just my knee it was an injury that I had for years
Mhm.
prior. And the problem was my project manager, Smosh, which he passed away last year from cancer, fought it for like 3 years. And then it just got him, like, he went quick. It was super, super fast. But, I was short of body, and Smosh was like, hey man, I'll ride the limo with you. You need a person? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Mhm.
We get to the venue. I step out, just happened to turn wrong. My knee dislocated, and he saw me fall over. My rear seater for me knew of the injury that I had and like grabbed my foot and kind of helped me like jerk it back into place real quick and like got up because it was a normal thing for me. Like I was used to it. And Smosh saw it and like kind of like played it off. After the mission was over, he was like, "What was that?"
Right.
And I was like, "What was what?" And he was like, "Your knees." Like I saw your foot go in the other direction. I was like, "It's a thing." And he was like, "It can't be a thing." I'm like, "What do you mean, man?" I was like, "I'm good." He's like, "It's not about you." He's like, "I'm not worried about you being good. You're
Right.
great at your job. You're good at what you do." But he's like, "You're a liability at this point." He's like, "This literally could make or break the team at one point if something bad happens." Like, "Oh, your kneecap dislocates during the middle of like a firefight or something like that."
Right.
Now it's one less gun in the fight. And I never thought about it like that
Yeah.
until he put it in those words. I was like, all right. So called my wife, called Megan. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming home early." And she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Nothing bad. Like injured my knee. I'm coming home." So immediately she goes into like panic mode.
Right.
Like he's never called me saying this before. It's been a long time. Like, what's the problem? When you coming home? Like, are you gonna be okay? I'm like, "I'm fine. Everything's okay. I'm going to Dubai for a day, and then I'll be in Amsterdam for a day." And that's that. And came home, got a full knee reconstruction. UB Ortho did a full patellar reconstruction on my knee. And at that time of rehabbing, me and a buddy of mine, Derek, who actually is my business partner for Bull Creek, we always talked about it like
Mm-hmm.
over beers and bonfires. Like, "Hey, we should do something because there's nothing in this area that does what or teaches or educates you
Right.
in the world of like martial training, like firearms and hand-to-hand stuff like that." Like, yeah, you've got your local gyms and stuff like that that teach you. Then you've got what I like to call like your red shirt instructors, like your NRA instructors at your small gun ranges and stuff. But there wasn't a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And his experience, he was a Marine, was in the Marine Corps for quite some time. He worked state corrections and he's a tracker for state corrections and stuff like that. So like we always talked about it. And one of my other buddies, Travis, who is one of my instructors, me and him met in Moyoc. So he was working for IBS. I was with Triple Canopy. I was wearing a Bills hat. He was wearing a Sabres hat. And I
Nice.
was like, "We just become best friends." And he was like, yes, 100%. We definitely did just become best friends. So he worked for a local company here on the side doing training. Like it was small, but they were doing a lot of stuff with Erie County SWAT and some other police departments. And the owner, Phil, decided that he was going to go back in the Army. So it left a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I called Travis. Me and him stayed in contact. And he was like, "Hey, man, Yarborough's done. Phil's going back into the Army. I know you and Derek were talking about starting a company." He was like, "I will give you all of our clients that we already have." And a lot of the clients were from like the Buffalo Club and stuff like
Sure.
that. Like Phil got into that realm of people and we started the training company. It was just last minute, like injured. I mean, the first class we did was 2 months after my knee reconstruction. So I was out there in a leg immobilizer, like wobbling on the range,
what you
trying to like
do.
just trying to freaking teach. And at that point, like some of the older guys that were out there were like, "I'm not going to complain about anything. This dude just had a knee surgery.
Right.
He's out here still teaching us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about my back." But that's kind of where Bull Creek started. Was, like I said, beers and bonfires, talking
Mhm.
about the lack of education in firearms training and self-defense in this area.
Right.
And from that point, I just made phone calls to guys that I used to contract with, like, "Hey, getting into the other side of the industry, like, who do you know? Who can I talk to?" Some of the companies that I worked with, like High Threat Concealment at the time, was making holsters out of Connex boxes in Baghdad. And I did a lot of work for them overseas, like testing their product, telling them what could be fixed, what they could do better. And they, as soon as I came home, when we said we were starting the training company, they flew me and Megan out to SHOT Show in Vegas and introduced me to everybody in the industry, like everyone they knew. Like, "Hey, man, this is Frank. He's been a contractor for a few years. Look at starting a training company. Like, here he is."
That's awesome.
And luckily, I had someone to hold my hand and walk me through that for the
Yeah.
first year. And that's kind of how Bull Creek got started, was that way. It's just that lack of education in this area.
Nice. So, I guess why don't you talk a little bit about exactly what you do, like your programs
Yeah.
or who you're doing it for, and tell us a little bit about the business as it sits today.
So Bull Creek Strategic, like I said, it's a martial training style company. So we train firearms like handguns, rifles, long range, like PRS,
Mhm.
precision rifle shooting, and a little bit of hand to hand. So we have a class entangled handgun. We do it with my one buddy Ian, who's big into jiu-jitsu, who's been doing it for the better part of 15 years. He was a Marine as well. He lives a couple states, or he lives in New Hampshire, but we do this one class with him where it's called entangled handgun. So you're doing like a couple hours of jiu-jitsu, a couple hours of shooting.
Mhm.
And the second day we've got actual training evolutions where I give you a judo helmet and you come with me. I either give you a foam knife or a UTM gun, which a UTM gun is a lifestyle gun that just shoots paint rounds.
Okay.
And I'll be like, all right, hey man, this is what we're going to do. I think this is the route that Ian's going to go. So I'm going to give you the UTM gun, and you're basically going to put it in your holster, conceal it, cover it up. And then I'll put, like, there's a couple different scenarios we'll do. Like, one of them, you're putting groceries in your car,
Mhm.
and then somebody comes up from behind you and attacks you. You have a minute and a half to fight for your life at that point. So it's about 30 seconds in, you'll hear us call like weapons are live. So you might have one, you might not. The attacker might have one, he might not. You don't know.
Right.
So what we try and do with that is we try and teach you sometimes drawing your firearm or drawing a weapon isn't the best thing to do in a life or death situation, especially when you're this close to somebody, because you're watching hands. And if you see me start moving my shirt to go and grab something,
Sure.
well, you're going to immediately try and stop
Mhm.
my hands from doing whatever they're doing. So essentially what that whole point of that is just to get you to start reading body language, seeing what people are doing. And then, like I said, you got to fight for your life for a minute and a half.
Right.
Whereas our other classes, like our handgun classes, they're technique classes, like fundamentals.
Mhm.
So teaching you the basic fundamentals of handgun marksmanship, just teaching you how to utilize them properly.
Right.
Same thing with carbine, with rifle, is teaching you the fundamentals and the basics. And then from that technique class, it moves up to like a tactics class where you're learning more about moving, transitioning, targets,
Mm.
which it's not military oriented. Like,
Mhm.
I try and keep the names of the classes as least militarized as possible because it scares people.
I will say that is one thing. I own several guns, and I'm not well versed or practiced in them. I was never in this, they're in my house for protection.
Yeah.
Right. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it goes for any industry that you're in. Somebody who does it and who knows very little, and then to go up to somebody and I don't know next to
Yeah.
nothing, and you know so much. It's very intimidating.
It's
right?
very hard, and especially for guys. Guys have that I'm a man complex. Like, every guy
Yep.
does. So the thing is like, hey, you should come out and take a class. And guys are like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of like good. Or it's, I know what I'm doing. I can shoot a gun.
Sure.
It's like, I'm sure you can shoot a gun. Like, who taught you how to shoot? Oh, my dad did, or one of my buddies who was a cop did, whatever it may be. Like, someone taught me how to shoot. I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, anyone can show you how to shoot.
It's like going to the gym for the first time. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You haven't done this in years or ever, and it's like to get back into it or to go in front of people that have been lifting and working out
Yeah.
every day. You're like,
So before, on the way here, I was talking with
90% of it is just showing up,
Yeah,
right?
I was talking with Bobby Mazzara on the way here, and he just opened his gym, and that's literally the conversation that we were having was people coming in is the hardest part of anything, is getting to show up.
Right.
And like I said, guys have that I'm a man complex. Like, I know how to hold a gun. I know how to shoot. Someone taught me how to shoot. And like I said, anyone can teach you how to shoot, hold the gun and pull the trigger, right? And hope for the best.
Mhm.
But a lot of people that you even know and that I know will just go to the range with a box of ammo, shoot a piece of paper, hit the paper, and be like, good to go.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. But the problem with that is you have the general concept of what you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing when it comes to a life or death situation at that point. You don't know how you're going to react.
Right.
Everyone assumes how they're going to react. Like,
Adrenaline, just everything that goes into it. Like,
you have that endorphin dump,
Yep.
you lose fine motor skills,
Yep.
you revert to like tunnel vision, all the blood's rushing to your core to protect your vitals,
So
and
funny.
people don't understand that.
Last summer, I had a best man speech, my first one ever, right? My best friend. And I'm used to like talking in front of people and, but standing up in front of this wedding and giving this speech, I was shaking so bad. I couldn't control it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was uncontrollable, just the adrenaline, and like, I wouldn't be able to function.
Yeah.
right?
And that's what we try. And that's what we try. Like I said, I can't give you that endorphin dump, but we can make it as understanding as
Anything.
possible.
Practice
Yeah.
and knowledge, equals the results and the confidence.
Yeah. So like we use shot timers and stuff like that to give you that
Yeah.
shock effect, or like we'll say threat or gun or whatever it may be, and we try and get you to have that quick little dump of
Mhm.
oh man, like stress. I need to figure out what I'm doing. So like I said, from there, like I said, you got your level 2 classes that kind of go into more movement, and then we have competition classes. So one of my other instructors, Jake, he is a grandmaster in USPSA, which what that means is he is the best he's one of the best in his class. He's a grandmaster.
Wow.
Um, so he teaches competitive shooting, which competitive shooting is a very great sport that links very well to self-defense. A lot of people don't think so because you're walking the stages and you're pre-planning what you're doing, but you're still shooting at a very fast pace. You're still trying to get good hits on target,
Mhm.
and you're moving with a ton of adrenaline and you're sprinting.
Mhm.
So it's a very great course in that fact because I think it transitions very well. And then we have a precision rifle class, which the guy who teaches that, Brian, he was SEAL Team 8. He just retired within the past 2 years, decided he wanted to come home and do firearms training. He was going to Montana, teaching at like ranches and stuff like that. Through a friend of a friend, he heard about us and was like, "Hey, I really want to work with you guys. I want to do precision rifle." I was like, "Yes."
Mhm.
Like I can shoot precision rifle, but I am by no means an expert or an instructor at it. Like
Mhm.
the way I learned how to shoot precision is not the way that it should be taught. Like I can do it,
Right.
but don't ask me how I did it because
Sure.
it's all from feel for me. So Brian runs that course right there, which is a super fun course, and that course is for everyone when it just comes to long guns. So bolt guns and stuff like that is long distance shooting, hunters, because he's an avid hunter. So him and
Mhm.
Derek both talk a lot about using that platform for hunting locally here as well. So now you know what your gun does, because a lot of hunters here locally zero their gun at 100 yards or 200 yards, and they're like, "Oh, yep, I'm good."
Right.
Like I'm good. But what happens at 200 yards, 300 yards, 400 yards, which essentially you're not going to take a shot that long here,
Mhm.
but it's still good to know what that platform does and what that firearm does at distances. So that's what that class is about, is teaching the math behind actually shooting at distance. Um, and that's kind of what Bull Creek is. So Bull Creek is just education,
Mhm.
whatever it may be, when it's firearms related or hand to hand. We're trying to fill that gap in the area for education to help basically protect yourself and get home at the end of the day.
The older I get, the more I want to be educated about whatever it is I do.
Yeah.
If I get into a new hobby or I get a new vehicle or whatever it is,
Oh, yeah.
right? I think that's super important, especially with something that you guys do, right?
Mhm.
Like, um, let's wrap this up. Why don't you give us all the, what are your contacts? How does somebody get a hold of you? Or what are the first steps in saying, hey, listen, I'm a new handgun owner.
Yeah.
Where,
Well, I mean, so Escarment Arms is our store. So that I started with my buddy Joe
Okay.
as well. After Bull Creek kind of was running for a little bit, we started Escarment Arms. Joe is very great at gunsmithing and building the firearms. We actually have built majority of the duty rifles for a lot of the law enforcement departments locally.
Oh, wow.
That's what we've been doing a lot lately, is that. So if you're looking at getting your pistol permit, Escarment Arms out in Lockport, we do pistol permit classes. What's great about our class is I know New York State's a 2-day class now,
Mhm.
but you're getting a stop the bleed certificate, you're getting a CPR certificate, and then you're getting 2 hours on the range with the Bull Creek instructor.
Oh, wow.
So you're getting hands-on instead of sitting in a classroom for 2 days, essentially.
Yeah, I will say that I was kind of disappointed when I took my class. It was just, I thought there would be more.
Was it the 2-hour
Right?
class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, they almost like kind of rushed it and got
Yep.
us out of there like super quick. And I'm like, no, I want to learn.
Yeah. So New York State used to be the easiest state in the country to get your pistol permit, your concealed carry permit. Not like being able to carry, but just your
Yeah.
concealed carry
Mhm.
permit. It was 2 hours, you never touch a gun.
Right.
So this new
That's
course,
pretty much what I got.
yeah, this new course, I mean, I wish it was 8 hours long, but the 16-hour course is great because, like I said, you're getting a tons of hands-on stuff, but that's why we did the stop the bleed and the CPR,
Mhm.
so that you're getting more life-saving skill sets out of that class, because if you can make a hole, you should know how to like fill the hole,
Yeah,
essentially.
sure.
So Escarment Arms does a pistol permit class, does HR 218 for retired guys as well who are badged. They can come do their retirement qualification with us. We do gunsmithing, customization, you name it, anything firearms related. I mean, we have a lot of shops locally, local gun shops that send stuff to us just to repair and fix. And we work really closely with a lot of the other gun shops, which a lot of people wouldn't assume that.
Right.
But we're
Community.
yeah, it's a community. Like, we all want to help each other out. Like, if there's something we can't do, or say you're out in like the South towns, instead of you coming to me to buy a handgun just because you like us, which I respect that, and I thank you who people that do that, but there's gun shops that are closer to you that you can support as well. Because the thing is, you're gonna have to drive out to Lockport, buy the gun, get your receipt, then drive back to your hometown to get it put on your permit, then drive back to Lockport to get the gun.
Yep.
So a lot of us gun shops, we all work very closely together.
Oh, that's great.
So when it comes to training and education, Bull Creek Strategic, we hit every aspect of that. When it comes to buying your gun, buying your first gun, getting your permit to carry, Escarment Arms takes care of that.
Awesome.
So we're Facebook, Instagram, Google, website.
And you do great with the videos. I
Try
love watching them.
It's hard, man.
Trust me, I know, right? Like, but you know, that's what gets the eyes on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a wild world we live in. But thanks for being on. Incredible knowledge, and I can't wait to get started on my training.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, brother.